After sitting on this video for almost 3 years, finally deciding to finish the video, crashing the airplane, rebuilding the airplane with 3D printed parts, forgetting how I built the airplane and spending 9 hours to rebuild the airplane, and with 19 gigabytes of useless B-roll, now I think it's the perfect time to do my review of the RC Foam Fighters YF23. Now this is not the first airplane I built. This is actually the second airplane I built because I totaled the first airplane while trying to finish the video. There we go. Whoops. Oh, come on.
Well, I got the plot.
I think I would want to talk a little bit about the first airplane because I think the craftsmanship on the first airplane is a lot better than it was on the second airplane. I think I'll let FSXTout from 3 years ago tell you what the build process was from back in the day, so take it away. So these are Foamboard plans. So what you do, you print out all of the pages, you glue them together, you stick them onto a foam board, and then you cut them out. Kind of like cutting out your own puzzles. Motor assembly instructions were lacking. I measured the distance between the outer walls of the fuselage and cut 2 squares to that measurement with 1/8 base wood for the firewall. For the side supports, I cut 4 pieces along the length of one side of the firewall with a shorter width, and I glued 2 pieces of the side supports for rigidity. I used bird scare tape for the glass canopy. Now, let me just divert from the script and show you these here. So as you saw in the brief bit of the beginning, I put the paper on top, the template on top, and then I cut out exactly. And as you can see, I had to measure twice and cut once. I measured once and cut twice. That's not what you're usually supposed to do. But these were the exact plans. Like the plans had the holes for here. I cut for here. And then when I fit the wing and the bottom fuselage, the whole the piece ended up being here. And this remains true throughout the entire plane. Like here, here, the original plan says here, here. Well, for this one, see, this hole is a lot bigger than it's supposed to be. So I just ended up shaving off the nubbin from the bottom fuselage. Here and here. You would think that these holes would spoil my aerodynamic lift, and you might be right. So what I did, I closed up the holes with some tape. So there's tape on the top and tape at the bottom of the holes, so wind does not get through and humbug my process, my flying abilities. Alright, let's talk about the other pieces. So these vertical stabilizers were supposed to be made out of balsa. Actually, all of the vertical stabilizers were supposed to be made out of balsa. And that's what I did. I made these 2 out of balsa, which was fine. But this longer piece here was also supposed to be made out of balsa, but I did not have a piece of balsa long enough to make this piece. This piece was a bit complicated to make with a hacksaw, so I was contemplating buying a laser cutter to cut the balsa. I could not cut it lengthwise, so I was thinking maybe cutting it on a diagonal. And I went down the whole laser cutting rabbit hole. And then I just settled on making the vertical stabilizers out of cardboard. Wow, who would have thought? So vertical stabilizers are made out of cardboard. Initially, I took my airplane out to a meet and greet at my RC club. Meet and greet? That's not the right word, but I went to see some members and I showed them my airplane. And one of them suggested to put carbon fiber along the wing so that when I'm pulling up, the wing does not flex. I did not have carbon fiber laying around, so what I did, I went out and I bought some carbon fiber. Yes, this is supposed to be for rigidity, and that did not work. This would not have worked for me. So what I did instead, I put some carbon fiber along the leading edge of the wings for rigidity, and then I found that tomato planter, and I cut off one of the legs, and that is what you see here. I taped it down because why would I bother wasting my super glue to tape this down? Anyways, speaking of super glue, this is what I use for most of my build. Can camera focus on this? Yep, there we go. Right, some Loctite super glue. It is a lot faster than CA. It's a lot faster than hot glue, and you don't need as much. But one thing though, the fumes from the hot glue, from this super glue, really bothers you. So be in a well ventilated area when you're super gluing, and perhaps don't be above it when you're super gluing like what I did last night when I was gluing down these vertical wing, and to hold it in place while I glue it down. Well, of course I measured wrong and the holes are a lot higher than that idea, and just went straight for the regular glue. I did not use super glue in this because I did not want to waste my super glue. I put glue on both sides, top and on the bottom of the aircraft. Let's see. Now that was the build process and the headache I got from the build process. In a few hours I will be going down to the field and I will be flying. Doing the first maiden flight. Well, first maiden flight, that's kind of redundant, but I'll be doing my maiden flight of this here F23 version 1.2 from free plans from rcfoamfighters.com. Then I suppose because I'm a YouTuber, I can do transition. Whop.
1, 2, 3, go. There you go. Beautiful.
Not sure what's the issue, but it's really wants to turn.
Go, keep flying, keep flying. Can you keep flying it? With the battery dead?
Alright. Alright, okay, that's not too bad. Ooh. Okay, yeah, this is a bit bad. And that was almost 3 years ago. So the reason that the plane had an unscheduled landing was because I did not test the electronics and the speed controller, which I got on Amazon. Well, it works, it gets really hot, and then it stops working. So I managed to do one circuit, and then the plane, well, the speed controller stopped working and I had to land it. I have replaced the ESC with a different ESC, the ESC from the Hobby King Arctic Cat, the reversing ESC. I'm not using the reversing function on this airplane, but I have this ESC in and it works. I have flown one other time, which I don't have video of. Flown it by myself, when I launched it by myself. Tried to do the whole discus launch, the wing launch, and it crashed and I bent up the side and broke the motor mount. Well, I 3D printed a motor mount. Well, I 3D printed the motor mount. I 3D printed a motor mount to fit here and I have it installed. So let's go flying today. And just in case the motor mount breaks, I printed a spare. I printed them in 2 different orientations out of PLA Plus. I printed one motor mount like this. See, focus. Printed one motor mount like this. This is the firewall. Printed the motor mount like this, and I printed the one that is installed. I printed it like this.
What do you call this plane?
Oh, this is a YF23.
A what?
YF23.
YF23. Okay. Yep. Made out of foam core. Okay. Well, it's maiden flight?
No. This is like my 3rd flight.
Okay.
But it has been sitting for like 3 years, so I'm trying to see if it's still good or not. Okay, so I'm going to launch it without the gyro on and see what it does. Wait for some wind. There's absolutely no wind right now. Let's record up here. Right. Kind of nervous now. Oops.
That didn't work.
That did not work. And it's not broken.
Okay, that's
so
a
we
good
go
thing.
again. Right? So annoying.
Throttle disabled.
Nope.
Throttle active.
Okay.
You don't want the propeller turning when you throw it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. There we go. Oops.
Oh no, oh no!
Oh, come on.
Well, I got the plop. All right, I'm gonna pause this. Hopefully we'll go again.
Oh shit, that sucks. I had this in low rates. Okay. All the way broke. Oh shoot, I had it in low rates. Then when I switched it when I tried to switch it to high rates, I hit the gyro, the hover mode in the gyro. Then when I switched that off, I was still in low rates, so I could not pull up hard enough.
Oh boy.
Alright, well.
Back to the drawing board.
Yep. Gonna buy me. Oh,
Your servos. Ooh.
I broke the. Look at that. Servo.
Cut the wire. Cut the
Prop.
servo wire.
Prop even cut through the body. That's impressive.
Foam core is only so strong.
Yep. Oh, that was fun. And that brings us back to today. Well, not today. Last week, Saturday today, when I actually sat down and decided to rebuild the airplane. What I did, same as last year, but I have B-roll of it this year, so I'll tell you again. I printed out some plans, tiled them. I had to prepare the plans, I had to cut them out. I did not realize that I probably should have cut them out before starting the camera, but I started the camera then cut them out, and that took some time. I forgot that I was supposed to glue the plans down to the foam board sheets, because when you start to cut, the foam board sheets move away. So scotch tape would not help, because if you cut a hole through the plans will start to shift because the tape will only be holding the edges of the hole. Somewhere along the line, I also forgot that I should have removed the plans while putting the airplane together, so I still have the inside of the plans still stuck to the airframe. And I've also forgotten that I should not have cut out the holes for the pegs in the upper part of the wing. So the three parts of the fuselage connect with pegs and holes, with the bottom part of this fuselage turning up and fitting into, and pegs from the bottom part of the fuselage sticking through the top of the wing. I've forgotten that I should not have cut out these holes according to the plans, because in the first plane I cut the holes, and then the holes were either too small or too big, so I had to cut more holes. So that's why you see multiple holes in the first airplane, and in this second airplane here I've forgotten about that, so there are also multiple holes for the pegs, which I have forgotten that I should not have cut out. I have also designed this airplane with 3D printed parts. So the parts that are required to be made out of balsa wood, I'm not going to do that. We're going to use 3D printed parts. And I've included the 3D printed files, link in the description down below. So the 3D parts that I have designed were the motor mount, the long vertical stabilizers with clips to hold them in place, the short vertical stabilizers, and just for fun, because why not, I've also 3D printed the battery holder for the RC Foam Fighters YF23. And then we'll fly. We'll see what's good with this new version of the YF23. Hopefully it flies. Well, I suspect it will fly, but hopefully it's not too heavy with the 3D printed battery tray. These vertical stabilizers, the 3D printed vertical stabilizers, they should be fine. The 3D printed motor mount, that's a godsend. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with the balsa again. The first time I dealt with the balsa, it was messy. I did not like it. But the 3D printed parts, man, that's so easy. And I've also included holes in the 3D printed parts, so you can stick toothpicks through the holes, through the fuselage and out through the other hole to secure your motor mount. That is also how I'm securing the top of the airplane. I'm using toothpicks and rubber bands to hold the top hatch in place. I'm using the rear top part of the fuselage to hold down the forward part of the fuselage, which flips up for me to access the battery compartment. I'm not sure where I got this technique from, or if I developed it on my own, because this technique was used when I built the first airplane, and I don't know if that was me being big brained or if I saw that somewhere, but this technique of using toothpicks and rubber bands, really helpful. And you only need one rubber band really. You don't need multiple rubber bands to keep your top hatch closed. Alright, I believe that's all I have to say about this particular airplane, but let's go fly. Alright, YF23 again, second build. Got rid of a lot of the 3D printed parts except for the this thing, the motor mount, and these two stabilizers up here. Everything else, this is cardboard. The battery tray is foam again. Alright, so
Medium rates. High rates.
high rates. Let's fly with the gyro on.
Stabilization on.
And what else do I need? Okay, that switch does not do anything.
Throttle active.
Throttle active. Alright, man. Please let me fly. Please let this be good. My gyros are on. Yes! I'll take it. She's a screamer. She's very draggy though. For as loud as the plane is, not very fast. Oh, you see my gyro shaking it? I don't mind. I honestly don't mind. Oh, I'm so happy. Woo, let's go. Cheryl is freaking out, but at least she flies like she's on rails, so I ain't mad. Alright, let's come in for a landing. I can live with that. I can live with that. Let's see.
Throttle disabled.
Throttle disabled. I can live with that. Let's see if there's any more damage. There is no damage. Let me check my motor mount. Oh, that's what that sound was. Wow. So I snapped the toothpick that was holding my motor mount in place. Yeah, she can definitely fly again. But I did not bring my charger. So that's it for today. Let's quit while we are ahead. And quit while we're ahead, I did. So I did somehow manage to snap the two toothpicks that were holding the motor mount to the airplane. Those got loose and I guess they were rubbing up against the inside here. That's why the plane was making such a noise, but yeah, we flew. One thing that I noticed immediately, and one of my club members noticed, is that she is screaming. I'm giving her full throttle, but she's not scooting. You know, she's slow, so I'll definitely have to revise my power setup, whether it be a smaller kV motor or a larger prop, a different pitch prop, whatever the case is. That's it. That's all I have to do. And maybe turn on the gain on my gyro, but the wiggy waggy was kind of cool. It was kind of funny to see. But yeah, she flew. And I'm happy. So, if you do plan on building this YF23, I'll be making a separate video called the YF23 debrief or something along those lines, where I detail all of the issues that... So yeah, man, 3 years in the making, 2 airframes, 1 kind of rough YouTube video. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Let me know what you think about the entire video, the entire process, me documenting my process, I am a professional media producer, so this is practice for me, and hopefully this video is kind of good. But you know, feel free to tear me a new one if it's not. Links to all the parts I use in the description down below, including the motor and the prop, which I strongly suggest you revise, because as you saw when she was flying, she was very draggy, no acceleration, no punch out power, very low top speed. So look out for that. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye.